In this video, we're going to talk about some materials that we commonly use in drawing. I'm going to talk a little bit about the different kinds of drawing pencils and erasers and these great little blending stumps. I know I get a lot of questions in my videos about what pencils I'm using and what materials I'm using and where to get them, so I think I'll just address them all in this video. First of all, you don't have to have fancy supplies in order to do a good drawing. I mean, most of the time when I'm drawing, I just use a standard number 2 pencil or a mechanical pencil even, and just a regular eraser. I am definitely more interested in these kneaded erasers for when I'm blending, but a regular eraser works just fine too. So like I said, you don't have to be fancy to do good drawings. First, we'll look at these pencils here. So you may notice there's a bunch of different letters and numbers arranged here, and these tell you the different hardnesses of pencils. So I don't have an entire scale here. I tend to lose my pencils, like everybody. But when we see the letter H, H stands for hard, and B stands for black or soft. So generally the letters that have a higher, or the B's that have a higher number on them, like 8B is going to be very, very black. It's going to be very dark, whereas letters like H's that have a higher number are going to be really hard, which makes them lighter. So if we start here, we'll see a 3H, when I color it, is not going to get very dark. So I'm kind of putting a medium amount of pressure on this. Not very dark. If I push too hard, it's really going to indent the paper, and that makes it challenging to erase. So generally we use the H's for just light sketching. So you definitely don't want to push really hard with these because it'll make dents in your paper. The next is an HB. This is just the General's brand, I believe, the stuff you can buy at Walmart or Hobby Lobby or whatever. HB is just like your regular pencil, so like your school pencils or HB pencils. So this is really standard. This is the one we generally use the most because it gives you a wide range of values. So we can see here it gets pretty dark, but I can also, if I press lightly, I can get those really light values like the H has. So there's a wide range with HB, and that's why most people use these. And then we're back to the Staedtler or Mars Lumograph pencils. These are a bit more expensive, but honestly I don't see a big difference in quality between different drawing pencils. Because like I said, I usually just use school pencils. I tend to use these for the darker graphite, so like the 8B, 6B, stuff like that. So this is a B. This is our middle of the road pencil, and it's not much different from the HB. You'll see, I think most people notice when you start pressing really hard with graphite pencils, they start to get shiny. And I think that's why a lot of people tend to prefer charcoal over graphite when you want to get those darks. Then we have 2B. This is my favorite one personally. I like to work with 2Bs because it does get darker, but it also can have those really light value ranges as well. So it's pretty versatile. So I can get really light. Now we have a 5B, so we make a big jump from 2B to 5B. My little nubby pencil. This one gets really dark. The lead is much softer, so it feels nicer going down on the page, but it still gets pretty shiny. And then lastly we have the 8B, so I'm bringing out the big guns here, so if I need to get really dark, then we nail this down. This one is super close to charcoal in terms of its blackness. You can still get some lighter values, but not nearly as light as an HB. Then if you need to go all the way, you can take a charcoal pencil. This is Faber-Castell. And that's where you're going to get the blackest black that you can get. The texture is different, it's not as shiny, so you want to be careful mixing the two if you want it to look uniform. So there we can see the variety of values that you get from the different kinds of pencils. So hopefully that kind of clears the air on what these numbers mean and how we work different stuff. So remember, we've got 3H, HB is the middle, B, also HB is like a number 2 pencil. Here's 2B, 5B, 8B, and charcoal. So next we have the blending stump. We use a blending stump to kind of smooth out our values and kind of make everything blend together. So it gives everything a nice smooth transition of values. So you can see it kind of gets dark on the blending stump when you use it. So that way you can actually make your own values. Once you have enough built up on here, you can make lighter values without even using any pencil. So obviously, depending on the level of pencil you use, you're going to have a lighter or darker value when you blend it out. And then if we were to try and blend the 3H, it's not really going to do much, because that hard graphite is really hard to work with. So it'll make it a little bit softer, but it's not going to push out very far. So this is great for shading. It helps kind of control where your values go and give you a nice smooth blend. Then we have some different erasers. I usually just use the plain pink ones, but I thought I'd show you some different ones. This is a Mars plastic eraser, so it doesn't leave as much of a residue as the pink ones do, but it also doesn't quite pick up quite as much as other erasers do. Then here is a kneaded rubber eraser, so this is what it looks like when you buy it. There's a bunch of different brands, but you can get Prismacolor or this design brand. I think that usually comes with these Generals sort of brands. But I really like these because they're great at lifting up values just by like smushing your eraser onto it. So it's great for just kind of lightening up shadows and stuff, and you can bend it and shape it into little points so you can get fine little lines erased out. So they're really helpful by being versatile, so you can erase out lots of different designs and shapes or large or small areas. They can also pick up big areas by just pushing down on it. You can see it picks up. I could even like stamp out the letters there if I wanted to. Plus they're really fun to play with because you can pull them apart like that. If you get them nice and warm, they pull apart really far. But yeah, that's fun stuff, isn't it? And then it's really squishy. They're just fun to play with. If you're really in a pinch, you can take a piece of bread and roll it up into a ball really tight, and that also acts as an eraser. I learned that on Nickelodeon in the 90s, back when it was, you know, educational. That's a lie. There you go. Backwards. So hopefully this helps you kind of figure out supplies and different ways of using drawing pencils and erasers. Thanks for watching.